In the beginning of the story, Giselle Rossevin is the name of a villainess in the novel called The Poison Apple. It was a novel the main character read to let off steam at work. The Poison Apple is an angsty romance novel where both the heroes and the villains die. Giselle is a side character who is the first to die among the villains. She loses to the hero early on and her family is eradicated. Her fate is to be poisoned by an assassin in a cell while waiting to be hanged. One day, our main character got hit by a car on the way home from work. When she woke up, she was Giselle Rossevin, the villainess. She was already in prison when she woke up in this world, and assassins really did come to poison Giselle. An assassin forced her to drink poison, commanding her to open up, declaring that the poison was coming. Giselle coughed and commented that it tasted like strawberry-flavored cough syrup. Shocked, the assassin questioned the efficacy of the poison, wondering if he had brought the wrong one. To verify, he drank it himself and died. Several more assassins came to try and kill her, but for some reason, not a single poison worked on her. Watching the assassins, she felt disappointed, thinking that the assassins of this world were idiots for always checking the poison by tasting it. In the beginning, she was too scared to drink the poisons, so she struggled. But once she got used to them, it was better to just get it over with since they didn't stop until she drank the poison. After trying so many kinds of poison, she discovered that they all tasted different. Initially, the guards got worked up because they thought she had killed those assassins, but once they found out that the assassins had poisoned themselves, they stopped paying attention. She initially thought that so many assassins were getting in because the security was terrible, but she became sure that the guards were being bribed to turn a blind eye. Giselle sighed, thinking about how unbelievable it was that she had to survive on poisons while waiting to be hanged in such a terrible cell. She hoped the next poison she had to drink would at least taste good to put her in a better mood. Suddenly, she heard a chuckle and turned around, wondering if someone had just laughed, but there was no one there. She questioned if it was a side effect from drinking so much poison, acknowledging that drug abuse was indeed bad for her. The chuckle sounded again, making her scared as she wondered where it was coming from and if it was a ghost. A man then spoke, denying that he was a ghost. Giselle, now annoyed, realized it was a person and questioned his attitude. In anger, she yelled, expressing her frustration that she couldn't see him but assumed he was an assassin. She explained that she had just had some poison and needed time to let it digest, asking if he could wait. The man gave her another poison, assuring her that it was small and would be fine, and told her to try it. Surprised, she noticed that it appeared out of thin air, but quickly became enraged. She demanded that he hold on, reiterating her request to wait a bit. She fumed internally, questioning if he thought she was some sort of lab rat and wondering what kind of assassin behaved like this. She reflected on the poison, noticing a strong, sour smell coming from it and wondering if it had gone bad. She questioned whether spoiled poison could kill her. Although she hadn't died from drinking poison so far, she considered that this one might be different. Then again, if the poison didn't kill her, she might get stabbed instead. She reminded herself that she was sentenced to be hanged and was going to die either way. Resolving not to die like this, she also noted that the assassin seemed to have some sort of special power. Giselle called out to the assassin, proposing a favor in exchange for drinking the poison. The mysterious, handsome man questioned her about the favor. She explained that if she drank the poison and survived, he wouldn't be able to poison her anyway, so she asked him to let her live. The man clarified, asking if she wanted him to let her live if she didn't die. She corrected him, asking him to get her out of there. Internally, she resolved that she couldn't just sit around and drink poison, waiting to be hanged, and decided she needed to escape no matter what, figuring out how she ended up there later. The man then questioned whether she could survive once she escaped, reminding her that she was known as an evil witch throughout the empire. He pointed out that there would be wanted posters everywhere, her family was gone, and she had no one to help her, suggesting that it didn't matter whether she died out there or in the cell. Giselle, angry, retorted that he was such a pessimist and suggested he try being more optimistic. The man, taken aback, questioned her response. With confidence, she declared that although she had made many enemies, there must be a place for her somewhere in the world. If good people turned their backs on her for being an evil witch, she could just find employment with an evil villain. The man scoffed at the idea of employment and noted that she seemed to have someone in mind. She confirmed, saying she did have someone in mind, the most evil villain of them all. Intrigued, the man asked her to tell him more, saying if it sounded fun, he would consider helping her. Giselle pondered for a moment, trying to recall the name of the main villain in the novel. She then tentatively spoke, mentioning the name Wayne Eyre. The man corrected her, asking if she meant Wayne Ayor. She quickly agreed, saying that sounded right. Suddenly, another assassin arrived to poison Giselle. She quickly asked the mysterious man if he knew the newcomer. The man confirmed that he did. The assassin addressed Giselle, stating that he couldn't let a witch like her die so easily. Giselle noticed the different voice and gloomily remarked on it. As the assassin began to open her cell, she gasped, shocked that he had the key, and wondered how he obtained it. When the assassin entered, she feared the guards had given him the key, cursing them as corrupt monsters. The assassin, overcome with emotion, pulled out a large knife and expressed his anger, revealing that his actions were for his fiancée. He then attacked, but Giselle managed to dodge the knife. Scared, she internally reflected, urging him not to cry and attack at the same time. Giselle began to drink the poison given to her by the mysterious man, hoping he would intervene to save her from being stabbed. She yelled out to him, demanding his help since she drank his poison, sobbing loudly and reminding him of his earlier promise. The man smiled and replied that he had only said he would consider helping her, not promised it. Suddenly, the man snapped his fingers, causing unrealistic lights to appear in Giselle's cell, surprising both her and the assassin. The man explained that he found her interesting. The assassin started sinking into a large circle on the ground. Giselle reflected on what was happening, wondering if it was magic. She watched as the assassin got sucked into the shadows within the circle, and then that man appears in front of her. Giselle wonders if he is the assassin. She ponders why an assassin would openly show his face. More importantly, she can't help noticing how attractive he is. He finds the poison bottle and picks it up. Giselle looks on in confusion. She fears he might try the poison and end up killing himself like the others. She laments that his good looks are wasted if he acts like all the other fools. Giselle asks him if he is going to check if it is really poison. The man smiles as he holds the bottle close to himself and confidently replies that he doesn't need to, because he is sure he brought the right one. Overwhelmed, Giselle reflects with relief that finally she has encountered an assassin who seems to have more than half a brain. With a snap of his fingers, the man declares that the poison isn't important right now and suggests they make their escape. A magical circle appears with his gesture. Giselle is stunned by the appearance of the magic circle and reflects on the situation. She gasps, realizing that he must be a mage. She recalls his earlier words, "As it happens, I do." She wonders if he knows the leader of the dark mages, Wayne Aor. Could this mean he is also a dark mage? Through the man's magic, they both escape from prison and land somewhere else. Giselle looks around and asks where they are. The man informs her they're in a back alley and teases her about whether it's too shabby for a noble lady like herself. Giselle expresses surprise that they managed to escape so easily, noting her disappointment in the lack of security. The man smiles mischievously and asks if she would like him to put her back in jail. Giselle emphatically declines. The man reassures her, saying not to be disappointed. He explains that she will be reported to have escaped with the aid of dark magic, resulting in a big bounty on her head and imminent execution upon sight. Giselle shudders at the thought and reflects that he doesn't need to look so amused about it. Giselle realizes as she reflects that what they used was indeed dark magic, the kind only villains used in the poison apple. The character she's possessing, Giselle Rosevin, was also aided by a dark mage in the novel. Wayne Aor, the final antagonist, sought to empower the dark mages by gathering them to oppose the male lead. She hesitates and asks if he is actually a dark mage, a member of the Black Clouds, the organization of dark mages led by Wayne Aor. Before its true nature was revealed, the organization was foreshadowed by the phrase, "The Black Clouds are rolling in." Giselle asked cautiously if he was one of Wayne's underlings. The man smiled in response. Giselle felt confused as she reflected on her earlier bravado about trying to get hired by Wayne Aor in front of someone who actually worked for him. She panicked inwardly, unsure of what to do next. She flushed with embarrassment and stammered, asking for his name. The man replied calmly, "Reniel." Giselle pondered silently, noting that she didn't recall hearing that name in the poison apple. She thought back to the characters in the novel, trying to remember if there was anyone with red eyes and black hair like Reniel. She concluded that there wasn't such a character. The final boss had silver hair, so Reniel didn't seem familiar to her from the story. Giselle reflected on Reniel, noting how attractive he appeared the more she looked at him. She mused that he seemed too handsome for a mere side character, and since she didn't remember anyone named Reniel from the story, he must not be important. She reasoned that members of the Black Clouds typically acted independently, similar to the dark mage she allied with in the novel. Assuming Reniel was recruited similarly, she felt relieved it wasn't Wayne Aor himself she had been boasting in front of. However, she worried that Reniel might report what she said, so she needed to ensure he kept quiet. Giselle hesitated and addressed Reniel, admitting she hadn't actually spoken to his boss about getting hired. Reniel reassured her, stating he understood and wouldn't speak negatively about her to the boss. He then urged her to get moving, pointing out they weren't far from her jail cell and a search party would likely be sent out soon. Giselle was startled by this realization and reflected on their proximity to the tower. She wondered why Reniel hadn't teleported them farther away. Trying to persuade him, she put on a cute face and attempted to butter him up, asking if he could accompany her a bit longer, suggesting that fate had brought them together. Scared internally, Giselle realized she couldn't evade capture on her own and still needed Reniel's help. Reniel questioned why he should assist her further. Giselle awkwardly laughed and mentioned her financial situation, hinting at repayment for his assistance. Reniel interrupted, stating he didn't work for free and asked what she could offer him in return for help. His words made her nervous. Just then, they heard guards' voices nearby announcing they were searching for Giselle. Reniel commented on the search party's arrival, causing Giselle to flinch. Reniel continued, musing aloud that he could wait for a bounty to be placed on her and then collect it. Giselle gasped, realizing she needed to offer something valuable. "I can give you information," she blurted out, hoping it would persuade him to help her evade capture. Reniel listened as Giselle spoke confidently, claiming she had information that could lead to a quick promotion for him. He questioned what kind of information she was referring to, intrigued by the prospect of advancement. Giselle, maintaining her confidence, hinted that she knew the fate of some important individuals, especially since he was affiliated with the Black Clouds. Internally, she reflected on her knowledge from the book and how it gave her insights into the future of their world. Giselle, trying to persuade Reniel, claimed she knew what would happen to his boss. Reniel expressed skepticism, finding her assertion hard to believe. In a panic, Giselle lied, attributing her supposed knowledge to mysterious powers gained from drinking so much poison. She implied that a mysterious entity had entered her body, granting her unique insights. Reniel was unsure how to respond to Giselle's claims when suddenly the search team passed by, startling her. Fearfully, Giselle grabbed Reniel's shirt, pleading with him not to leave her behind. Reniel revealed startling information about Giselle Rosevin, stating that she had attempted a forbidden ritual just before her arrest. He explained that she had tried to gain power by sacrificing the dark mage she had allied with. Giselle was shocked to hear this revelation. She gasped, reflecting on the fact that the dark mage was the only ally Giselle Rosevin had left. She couldn't believe that she had sacrificed him in such a reckless manner. Reniel emphasized that even in dark magic, there are lines that must not be crossed. He explained that he had come to clean up the mess left behind by the idiot who died, tricked by Giselle Rosevin. Reniel needed to check if the forbidden ritual had succeeded, intending to take it for study if it had. He then asked Giselle if she wanted to know what the ritual was about. Anxiously reflecting, Giselle had a bad feeling about the situation.